Let's get into it. Just want to go over my pre-market game plan going into tomorrow. Doing this now. I know the market's not closed yet, but I'm leaving soon, and I will not be back until way later tonight. So I just want to get this out for you guys, and then I'll do my best to do a session recap of today. So I did stick around to the very end to see what will happen, and we kind of had to sell off here. You may call me a madman, but I was actually hoping we just got a deeper sell-off, a deeper pullback, a bigger sell-off, I should say. Just reading for that BN, like I said, there's a lot of thin volume in here, a lot of gaps in the overall market that needs to be filled. But you can see we pulled all the way back. We kind of just consolidated all day, and then we pulled all the way back. The Feds did cut the rates, so I think that's pretty good. That was expected as well. Um, so coming into tomorrow, really kind of the same game plan here on that has been, since Monday, is you're just looking for a trade off the previous day high and the previous day low. Now, my advice to you going into tomorrow, if you want to trade this name, you're looking to trade this name, look for the pullback long off the previous day low. This is the better RR trade. This is the tighter risk and the better risk when you're looking along this name. Like I said, up here is late to the party. So if you're looking to take a trade on the SPY, I would recommend just looking for the pullback long off the previous day low. I've been looking on the daily and the 4 hour. There's really just no key levels yet that's shaped up here. So like I said, if you're looking for a trade, pullback longs, that's what you're looking for. These are the better RR trades. You're buying the dip here, looking for that continuation higher. So this thing is still stack to the upside. Coming into tomorrow, if you really want to take a trade on the SPY and the Qs, you're just looking for it on the previous day high and the previous day lows. Same thing here with the Qs. There was a big divergence here actually today on the SPY and the Qs. Let's go here. You can clearly see we ended up getting this pullback long, and we did pretty well managing. We filled the gap, did pretty well managing until obviously we got that sell off at the end of the day. Not a lot going on today, but we ended up selling off, and look how quickly we recovered. Very quick recover. Like I said, I actually hoped we had a deeper pullback and a bigger sell-off. Didn't get that, but same thing going into tomorrow, just like I broke down on the SPY. You're just going to be looking for a pullback long off this previous day low or break and retest off this previous day high. Like I said, there's no key levels yet on the higher time frame just because, this thing's been, trending to the upside. Yeah, you can clearly see here this thing's been trending to the upside. So tomorrow, same thing with the SPY. You're looking for this or you're looking for this. Either way, valid shot. Just keep your risk management, in check just because, we're sitting at all-time highs. This thing's moving higher. You can expect a sell-off. You can expect a dip. But like I just said, the better RR trade and the tighter risk is a pullback long off the previous day low. AMD, patience pays. Like I've been saying, got to be patient here. Let price develop. And we finally got a key level on the 4 hour. Finally got a key level. Had to let price develop. So this is 3 days worth of price action here on AMD, and you can clearly see this key level just be highly respected. You can see it was resistance. It was support during the pre-market. We turned it to resistance. After we reclaimed that, you can see it turns it to support. Yesterday on the dot, you can clearly see here, we opened up here, which did the damage body tells the story. We ended up pulling back at the end of day, got that candle closure above. You can see it be respected during the after hours, and then today you can see it be respected even with that sell-off coming into the FOMC. So key level here on the 4 hour. So what am I looking for? This. This is a valid shot. I would be looking for a pullback long off of this level, targeting the previous day high, which is the all-time high, and looking for continuation. If tomorrow we get something like this, give me one sec. If we get something like this over the previous day high, which is now the all-time high, I'm hands off. Like I said, that's just entering late to the party. This is the better RR trade, right? A pullback long off this 258. I love it that it's a whole number. It's the previous day low. It's a daily support level on the 4 hour. A lot of confluences here. So this is the valid trade. This pullback long targeting previous day high, which is now all-time highs. That's the only pullback long entry I'm looking for on AMD. If we don't get that, I'm just hands off. So tomorrow, this is your key level to watch for a long. This 258 on the 4 hour. NVIDIA, pretty much no key levels here. This thing gapped up today as well. I was hoping when we got the sell off, we were able to fill this gap, and clearly see we still got this gap here. Never got that gap fill. So coming into tomorrow, I'm pretty much just hands off this name. Like I said, you can play the pullback long off of this or break and retest off of that. We're in an uptrend. This thing is bullish. You're just looking for the dips. You're looking for the pullback longs to catch that continuation higher. But I only take trades off a key level, so there's really nothing up here for me. Like I said, entering up here, we're just late to the party. So I would love a pullback long down here. This is the better RR trade. Why? Because then, give me one sec. If you can catch that continuation, you can scale out here, and then you can look to leave another part of your position targeting this all-time high. Hopefully you can get that continuation. But as of now, there's nothing really on this name for me on NVIDIA, just because we're sitting at the top of the range. We made all-time highs today. We gapped up today. This is a lower risk. I'm sorry. This is more of a high risk to enter way up here than it is down here. You can expect a sell-off up here. You can expect a pullback up here. You can expect people to pretty much get out of their positions to lock in some profits. So as I always preach, the bigger the pullback, the better. There's just no key levels yet that has formed up here. So I'm hands off on this name until we pull back into this 195.60. But like I said, you can look for a pullback long off the previous day low. That is a valid trade if you're looking to take a trade on this name and you trade off the previous day high and the previous day lows. Tesla. I really stayed around for the FOMC, really on Tesla. You can see we almost got it. I was really looking for this pullback. Did not get that. So Tesla has been testing our patience. I've been preaching that for sure, but this thing is in play. If you go watch my live trading session that I posted from today, I was saying that I hope we don't get over this 466 since we had a slow morning. Thankfully, it seems like we will not be doing that because this is our last key level. I break this down in the live trading session. This is our last key level before we reach all-time highs. I broke this down before. I break it down again. You can see here on the daily, once we get over this 466.50, there's nothing in its way to the upside, and I do not want to miss that. Another thing I'm noticing here on the daily is you can clearly see this is a strong resistance level. This is a daily double top now. You can see every time we push up into this 466.50, price rejects. So this is a key level here. This is a very strong level here. So coming into tomorrow, I'm looking for a break and retest over this 466.50, targeting all-time highs or pullback long off this 450. This is very valid. This is very valid. You can clearly see this is being respected on the dot, this 466. So tomorrow, this is valid. This is very valid. This is what I'm looking for. This is really the A plus long as well. So Tesla's still in the close watch list. I thought we'll get that today. We pushed very close. You can see we pushed up to 465.70. Seller stepped in very aggressively, pushed this thing down, but this thing is still intact to the upside. Like I said, every other name has made all-time highs except for Tesla. So Tesla's the main one that we're waiting for. So tomorrow, this is what you're waiting for. A break and retest over this 466.50 or a pullback long off this 450. But as you know, we are long bias on this name. We are not looking to short this thing. So Tesla's setting up. It's setting up really, really well. We're just being patient. You can see today was just, in between the previous day high and the previous day low. Right in between. You can see we didn't move higher, we didn't move lower, so that's good. Tesla's just cooking up. We just got to be patient and be ready once it sets up. Palantir, no shocker here. No shocker here. This was off a weekly level. If you watched that live trading session today, so a lot of good insight in there. And I break down how really the month of October has been, really out of this entire year, this entire month has really tested patience, excuse me. At least for me, it's been a really good month, P&L wise, trading wise. But if you've been watching me trade for a while, you've seen, we've got a lot of breakouts and no retest. We've got a lot of pullbacks, but it just didn't pull back close to our levels. So this month has really tested a lot of patience. We had that sell off at the start of the month, and then the market, as it was recovering, it was sitting in a channel for a solid 2 weeks. So we were just, taking base hits. Last week was a really solid week, but the month of October has been fairly slow. We're still in this government shutdown. I say all that to say, yesterday, or really the last 2 days, you watch those sessions, you know that Palantir has been on my close watch list. It's been on my close watch list. And this is what I'm talking about when I say this is the A plus long. You want to be in these trades before it even gets up here. Once you understand, a name is trending in market structure, these are the A plus longs. So missed this trade yesterday. I broke this down. I'm sorry, I did not miss this trade. I skipped this trade. Very big difference. And the reason for that being is, like I said, Q's was pulling back. It was filling this gap, and Palantir and Q's was in sync. And I really wanted this trade, but I wasn't going to force it because we knew this was coming. We knew this was coming. So as I always say, I'm really intrigued when we get a break and retest over a weekly level. That's a big deal. A break and retest over a weekly level, and you can clearly see here. Look at these past, Monday and Tuesday. Buyers defended this very well, and then we shoot all the way up, making more all-time highs. And it's really cool to see that because, as you know, as I've been breaking down this name for a while, we stayed away from this thing. We were very patient. We avoided this, no trade zone. And now what are we seeing? Just clean price action as soon as we get out. Consolidation, next leg higher. What we're seeing now is this next leg higher. We're bullish bias on this name. This thing is trending higher. So that being said, tomorrow this is a valid shot if we can get it. This previous all-time high, targeting the new all-time high, which would now be this previous day high. I mean, look at the sell-off that we had due to news and how quickly this recovered. This thing is made all-time highs as we speak. So this thing is in play. Like I said, the reason I skipped this trade is because the Q's was pulling back, filling this gap. This thing was in sync, and I skipped it. And thankfully, it was a good skip because our key level here is 188, and price ended up pulling back to 186.76. I was definitely going to get stopped out of that trade. So this month, just been testing patience. The price action wasn't the best the past 2 days on this. Unfortunately, we didn't get it this day, and it really tried. I'll go here in the 2-minute. I know I broke this down before, but just so you can see what I'm talking about, I broke this down in the 2-minute. Not a single candle closure under 188. Buyers really tried to defend this level. It really tried. So that being said, give me 1 sec. That being said, sometimes you just don't get your entries. We've seen that getting the break, no retest, getting the pullback, but not deep enough. And then your analysis is spot on, but sometimes the price action just doesn't align. So something I always say, we are risk managers before we are traders. So coming into tomorrow, I'm only looking for a pullback long off this 192.80. Like I always say, if you're entering up here, you're late to the party. This down here is a better RR trade. So if we don't get a pullback to this 192.80, I am hands off. Hood's cooking up, in my opinion. Let's go here on the daily. This is a key level. Do not be surprised if we get a blow-off shot. We see it all the time. The last 3 days, we wake up, but look where the body of the candle closes, right under our 146.70. We're bullish bias on this name, and this thing has a clear shot towards all-time high. It has a clear shot towards all-time high. If you look for the past 3 days, this is all we've been doing. Past 3 days, we're not moving higher, we're not moving lower, we're just consolidating. Right? Continuation, trend, next leg higher. I preach that all the time. So this is normal. This is 100% normal. So you can see we've been trending. We're getting our next leg higher before we get. We're waiting to get our next leg higher to target all-time high. So this thing is in play to the upside, and we've been flirting on the dot with this 146.70. So all we're looking for still on this name is this. That's all we're looking for on this name. I won't be surprised if we get it. Like I've preached in the past, once this thing moves, the price action is really good on this name. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days are just straight upside. So us, consolidating right now, that is 100% normal before we get our next leg higher. So tomorrow, this is valid, and a break and retest over 146.70 is valid. So these are the 2 key levels we're going to be looking for on Hood tomorrow. Amazon, I'm not really going to go over this just because it has earnings tomorrow, so we're not even looking to take this trade. But analysis was spot on here. Pullback long off this 228.35 targeting top of this range. We saw 2 days in a row how clean this price actually can be, and it moves from key level to key level. Thankfully, I do pay attention. I almost took a trade on this today. Thankfully, I built the habit of looking at the IV prior to taking a trade. And if we go here, it's already on Amazon. Look at the IV here, 117. So I definitely would have got crushed on that if I would have taken this trade, or those contracts barely would have moved, if that makes sense. But you still don't want to take this trade with earnings around the corner. But straight sell-off during market open. Straight sell-off, but this is what, trusting your levels do. As I always preach, one of my favorite setups is when we fell a key level, reclaim it. What does that do? Fuel this momentum to the upside. That's all that does. So clean price action here, key level to key level. Like I said, we're bullish bias on this name, looking for pullback longs, and we got that today. This is a breaker structure level. This is a breaker structure level. So we'll see how earning goes, but this will be on my close watch list going into Friday. And then Google, we'll see how this goes. It does have earnings today after market closes, but on the 4 hour, we finally got a key level. We finally got a key level. You can clearly see this key level being respected. I love the confluence here. It's also the previous day's low, which would be today, a 4 hour level, support level. We'll see how earnings go. We'll see. But this is the shot I'm looking for, right? We want to buy the dip in the uptrend. So when you buy down here, kind of just like I broke down on Palantir, this is the dip. This is the A plus long, targeting the top of this range, all-time highs, and looking for continuation. So hope this helps. Hope you're able to learn something. Keep it safe. There's a lot of earnings this week. Google after this. We got Microsoft. We got Apple tomorrow as well. So just being very patient, being very conservative. And like I always say, we're risk managers before we are traders.